I already thought about that. Can I get up?
I don't know that It might be easier to put some daily.
We can help you get up if you want to.
All right, it's 5 o'clock. Everybody, please stand. Before we get started, I'm going to ask Mr. Norris to lead us in a word of prayer. And following that, Randy Cheery will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay. Our most gracious, loving Heavenly Father, we thank you for this another day that you've given us. Thank you for the many blessings you bestow upon us every day. Thank you for this country that we live in. Thank you for our freedoms. Thank you for this school system, dear Heavenly Father, and the administrators, leaders, teachers, bus drivers, cooks, everybody that has anything to do with our students and the officers that keep them safe. Dear Father, we pray for our students this summer as they're out working and going on vacation and things like that. Just be with them and guard them and protect them. Be with us tonight that every decision that we make will be to honor and glorify you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Those are pretty heavy chairs. Let's go.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, buddy.
At this time, I'll ask Director Kilser to call the roll, please.
Shane Connor.
Here.
Ben Couples.
Here.
Randy Cheery.
Here.
Becky Hutchinson.
Here.
Norris Frank.
Here.
Keith Scott.
Here.
All present.
All right, we have a quorum present, so we'll officially call this meeting for June to order. And the first item we have tonight is a recommendation to accept our board agenda.
I'll make a motion to accept board agenda.
Second.
All right, motion is made and seconded. Any discussion about the agenda tonight? Okay, no discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, it is approved. Next, we have the consent agenda. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion.
Second. Motion's made and seconded. No discussion there. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, it is approved. We have no delegations at this time who've requested to address the board, so we will move right into our spotlights and celebrations. And of course, we're our new multi-purpose facility for Chesapeake County Schools, and we're celebrating that tonight.
So appreciate the opportunity to host this meeting in the multi-purpose. I know a lot of the community would have loved to see an open house earlier in the year, and we would have too. It was just a delay in getting approval and some things to work out with turf and other things that caused us to pause. But again, as I have shared with you folks through the course of the utility of this facility, obviously football team uses it routinely. Weightlifting equipment is for not only them, but there's a class that meets during the school year, weight training, that any and all students at the high school take first part of the day. Our 4th and 5th grade school, because of the vicinity of it, use this place for when the need is for an indoor facility for recess because of the new law requirements. But other sporting groups that have used it, some, and this is in no specific order of frequency, but I know that cross country, track, cheerleaders, baseball and softball, because of the facility. Majority of all of our sporting teams, I don't know if tennis has used it since their facilities right across the way, and they're practicing and playing on their courts. But again, just like I shared with you earlier, the lobby space is where our sports trainer is housed. And she serves all the sport teams, both at the high school and to a lesser degree at the junior high. So if there's any student athlete needing attention during the work day, school day, she provides those services in the next one. So it's obviously, this is, as I've shared already, this is top shelf facilities. And a lot of work has gone into it. I talked to the football coach earlier today. And unlike last year, there's a lot of difficulties because he was hoping to be in last April, and the facilities was nowhere near to be done by then. So it was later, once the school year got started, before he could even get into the field house. And this facility was slower also to get in. So anyway, he's very appreciative of the opportunity. I know that our students who have access to it, our staff who have access to it, have enjoyed it. And I'll say this, the kids are using this daily. The coaches are using this daily. Looking at, and I've been in here multiple times, obviously there's a little bit more attention given to make sure it's more tip-top, but it's not far off from where it normally is. They've taken care of their equipment. They've used it, but as you can see here, they put the equipment back like this every time at the closure of it. So that prides my heart because they're appreciative of the sacrifice and the commitment that our community has made for this facility and are showing good representation, good use of it. So, yes, sir.
Does the junior high have access to the weights?
Yes.
They do?
Well, depending on when, yes. I mean, these are access, again, the football team, I think, has it from like 2 o'clock until about 4:30. But yes, some are using it before, some are using it after.
Okay.
But like I know the junior high baseball team had their pictures made in here. So I know that they've used it too. More than just a photo shoot.
Good.
And we'll take a tour after this is over if you want to see not only this facility, but the field house also.
Any feedback or questions from the board? Well, it's a valuable resource, and we look forward to how it will continue to provide and support our students in the years to come. And it's an honor to be here tonight. As we move forward into our business portion, first is any public comments. There is a portion of each meeting set aside for that. I don't believe we've had anyone sign up to have public comments, and that moves right into our first order of business, which is a recommendation to the board tonight to approve what you have in your packet, the final draft of the 26-27 general purpose budget. So there is a recommendation to approve that tonight. Is there a motion to do so?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Okay, motion's made and seconded. Now that's on the floor to discuss. Is there any questions about it? Director Kilser's here. Stacy King is here. Anybody have any questions about the budget?
Well, and I know Dr. Kim had sent me some questions earlier, and just to restate, even though we're having a reduction of the property tax value from what we've been accustomed to, that certain percentage of the overall, it's been a reduction of about $268,000. We still are able to, and again, these are budgeted numbers, we're still able to satisfy the maintenance of effort of $4+ million, almost $4.1 million from the local contribution. And that's been by the increase in our budget lines for sales tax. Our sales tax revenue has been coming in rich. The guidance that we've received in years past, really since COVID, they've had us to be a more conservative approach to our sales tax revenue for budgeting. But the sales tax has been coming in well locally. And but we increased that one about $200,000 in the budgeted line, plus that if you remember 2 years ago, we made a gift back to the county to avoid anything that we're realizing right now, to have that TVA in lieu of tax value. We gave that back to them 2 years ago, but since that time, we've had to adjust our budget to reflect a little bit richer budgeted line for that one revenue source. And that's also to close that gap that could have existed with the maintenance effect. So those two measures were the two big measures to close that so there would be no gap in the maintenance of that. Included is your federal budget. Of course, that you didn't see that the last time, so there's a federal line that, or a budget line that you have in your packet that Stacy was able to provide more recently. Stacy, if I'm not mistaken, other than just a general overall, there's no county commission. They do have to prove it. Amendments, that's right, budget amendments. Yeah, because again, we don't dictate to the feds how much they're going to give us. We just get what they was offering.
Any additional questions or discussion? This, of course, has gone before the special called county commission meeting back on June 8th and was approved there. But it does require board approval tonight. The motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, it is approved. We'll move straight into some other policies we're going to be looking at tonight. The first is a recommendation from the high school leadership for board approval of a policy revision. Principal Murley is here, and Mr. Kilser also has been a discussion about this update. So, which one wants to start?
Yeah, and I've shared with Coach Murley the content that I included in your agenda. You know, we visited this last year, and it's a revisit of some of the same content, but with a little bit better, I think, presentation about what it needs to look like. I'll let Coach talk about the senior flex status. We don't have, the board does not have to consider that as approval, but it is mentioned in the board policy. It's a procedural step to identify those students who have that opportunity to do a shortened second semester if they satisfy those categories. But it's a little bit more detailed, a little bit more rigorous effort to minimize those kids who are just looking for an easy out to get out of that second semester senior senior semester, second semester is what I'm saying. Coach, you want to talk about that senior flex?
Well, we were looking, we had a large number of our seniors that were not participating pretty much at all or come and go status for the spring semester. Out of our 174 seniors, 137 of them were either come and go or early graduates, which was just less than 80%. So it really was nothing that was earned other than basically you just didn't have to be available as you qualified. So we wanted that to be something that was earned. So we got together with our leadership and came up with some qualifications in order to meet that status. And what we were looking at finding out is our seniors were planning early in their high school career to manipulate their schedules where they could be off second semester. Where that was costing us was our dual enrollment, our upper level CPE classes. Our numbers were going down because our kids would rather not have to come to school than do that. So we don't. If a kid excels and is worthy of that, we want to be able to let them enjoy that opportunity. But if we felt like it needed to be something that had a little bit more rigor in earning what that looked like. So that was the senior flex status that we gained. So,
Coach, I gave them access to it, so they've seen the same. It's been in their agenda.
so if you have any questions or concerns related to that, I'll be glad to answer.
What did you use prior to the senior flex? Just the ready graduate indicator?
It was just basically called come and go, and it basically the only status you had to meet where you had to have less than 5 credits to graduate was really the only status that had to be met. So pretty much the vast majority of our seniors met that, as you can see. So there was nothing, we had kids that, quite honestly, we had to have conversations with because they weren't responsible enough to take care of not being in school.
Right.
And I included with you folks 3 benefits, 2 of those being funding benefits, because other than just the early grants, everybody else, if they shorten their work day for the second semester, it shortens our funding for the following year for those students. So if they're there just 3 class periods out of 7, then we're only getting funded for that senior for 3 class periods out of 7. So it'll be approximately less than 50% funding for the second semester.
And on top of that, they're not taking dual enrollment in upper level CTE classes, which also adds direct funding. So it's kind of a double.
So it was my understanding, so I guess I may be wrong here. So those students that were leaving that second semester for work-based learning, it was my understanding they were being counted in the AD.
They are. Work-based learning is different.
Okay.
Yes. In fact, this is an effort to ratchet up the number of kids doing
We
work-based
found out kids would rather go work a minimum wage job and earn money than to go get experience in what their area they're going in. They would rather get paid to do a job rather than do the work-based learning,
Okay.
which
Well, back to the requiring the credits. In 3 years, it'll be 25. And I see how we've reworded it to
Yeah.
expected, so that their actual requirement is still the state.
It's still the state.
And so we're adding that you're wanting to add in, we expect them to have this many, even though it's not really the requirement. Has anything changed on that as far as last time we passed this? Jennifer said we can't require more.
The state kickback.
The wording that we had in the last policy revision was a little bit more of either or. You had to go with the 25. I think 25 was what we was looking for before. And if what we were trying to say is unless you earned the 25, you weren't graduating. And the language may not imply that, but now that's the way Jennifer White sent us back some feedback saying that's state law. You can't change that. So the policy the way it's written now is not changing the state law. And just like what Coach Murley did, he spoke with multiple school districts. I included those that he had spoken with that range in additional credits to be earned to graduate from their school districts from 23 to 28. And that's most of those are not block scheduled, are they? Some of them are.
a mixture of all. And just some clarification on the 22. The 22 is in there because there are still schools across the state that only have 6 period days. So that has to be the minimum. But schools that have anything other than a 6 period day, most all add up the requirements for graduation. So that's why the 22 is in there for the state requirement. Yes.
Is it possible to obtain more than 7 per year?
If somebody were to take some clef classes or something like that,
Okay.
yes. We only offer 7 periods in the school day.
Right.
But a kid can earn more than that if they're in some kind of a clef
Yeah.
or some kind of
So if they took 7 each year, we would expect them to have 28.
28. And see, we don't offer study hall, or study hall's not offered in high school. So
we don't offer any non-credit bearing classes with the exception of we do have some credit recovery slots, but they're earning credit back that they didn't get in the past.
So, if these credit, we do the revision, and let's say a student that will graduate 3 years from now, which will be the full 25, is it going to be possible for them to get their 25 credits and do work-based learning the entire second semester of their senior year? Probably not.
Without not having any classes, or are you talking about like
Yes, like
all 7 periods be work-based learning?
well, that's what they're able to do now, is it not?
We've got, I think we had 14 of early graduates. They completed all their requirements by the
End of the first semester.
end of December. So yes, that has happened. And some of those still will be able to because they can earn. We have, of course, they can play by the classes. It's a possibility, or they can add extra classes through the online platforms that we offer. So somebody can excel and go above and beyond, yes. But I don't know that the goal is for our seniors not to be in school second semester.
Okay, even if they're doing work-based learning or dual enrollment?
but
There will be multiple periods during the day that will be offer work-based learning. A senior, 3 years from now, will be able to take 3 or 4 periods of work-based learning if they're able to.
But a work-based learning period or periods, because you can do multiple periods of it, that's still considered a student. Even though they're maybe off at somewhere location, they're still counted as a student. So
Not if they're working a job.
not if they're working a job on their own, not work-based learning. You know, the goal is to get either dual enrollment, work-based learning, dual credit courses. Now, there are some requirements for like English and math. Of course, they satisfy that the first semester if they do dual enrollment for the first semester for both of those, because they satisfy the requirements to have one per year. But
It is possible for students to work and get paid and be work-based learning, but there's still some things that have to fall into place.
I think so. So those students, you're saying the majority of those students now that are not there the second semester of their senior year are not all doing work-based learning, enrolled in work-based learning. They're just gone working a job.
The 100 and
Because I'm confused on that. I
122 that qualified for come-and-go status that you guys signed off on for Christmas. Those guys and girls are not doing work-based learning on there if they're not in class. So up to 2 up to 5 classes, we're just not giving any funding for them. They don't have a schedule. And then we had 15 that graduated at Christmas, which those are in good standing because we get those are full-time students. But the 122 students last year that were come and go, however many periods they were not on campus, they were not doing work-based learning.
now, some of those may have been in dual enrollment.
Well, see, that's where I'm confused, I guess, because I know, and you may not like my daughter she did this. And I asked her before I left, and she may not know all the terminology, but, you know, she was doing work-based learning that second semester, which it was beneficial to her. And
Work-based learning is coded as a section in our schedule. So it's a class that they have on their schedule. These kids that we're talking about did not have a class in their schedule.
okay. But they had 22.
They satisfy
Credit.
the credits. Yes. Right. Met by Christmas time.
Which is probably not going to be possible at 25 to take the entire semester for work-based learning, correct?
Which is what's not going to be possible.
At 25 credits, it's not going to be possible for them to do work-based learning or dual enrollment the entire second semester. They would have to be at school enrolled in additional
Our
classes.
exceptional kids that go above and beyond will be able to. 122 of them will not be able to.
Okay.
But again, you will have like 3 years worth of 21 credits earned because, again, for that status, you can't fail anything.
Right. You have
So-
to have the 3.0.
And then the first semester, you may be able to pull up 4 classes, 4 credits. The first semester. Because, again, the English is satisfied with the semester course. The math is satisfied with the dual enrollment semester course. You possibly could get the 25 first semester. It would be few. And then their second semester could be the majority of the day or all day work-based learning if they chose.
I just know there's a lot of students, I think, that it takes advantage of that and that it's helped. And I understand what you're saying. If they're not taking advantage of it, yeah, they don't need to be just.
Well, Coach, remind me also, in work-based learning, they have to come in like one day out of the week.
And there's some things they got to do at the beginning, paperwork-wise, and then the work-based learning coordinator goes to the site where they are. So there's some checking in.
There's some mentoring going on between the work-based learning coordinator and the students doing the work-based learning. So they're still touching us. Yeah, this is an effort not to diminish kids from doing dual enrollment or dual credit or work-based learning. This is
It will
hopefully
increase the number of kids.
exactly. Hopefully, incentivizing more kids to get on. And if they want to be considered for the senior flex status, then satisfy the requirements. It's not out of reach for any of them. If they start off the school year strong their freshman year, it's not out of reach.
So if a student gets 22 credits, they still graduate.
Sure. Okay. Now, again, and that's consideration that when you have people that come in late in the school year, of course, again, with us, not like what Coach said, some have a 6-period day, which may make it more challenging for them to have 24, 25. But then you also may have some of our own that came in early or came in the whole time and just worked hard but had to back up and redo some things.
Yeah.
They can still, they're not going to be denied a diploma if they satisfy the right 22. And again, these children are being counseled by school counselors that are very effective every year, every semester of the year. In fact, the ones who need the most attention usually get that. The ones who start showing weaknesses or failures early, they begin to get counseled not only by their teachers, but their school counselors and their principals.
Okay.
Any other discussions or questions about the revision?
If we see some issues or Coach Murley sees some issues, we revise those going forward. It should be revised.
We've done it before.
Clay, what percentage would you think, moving forward from tonight, like you mentioned, there's kids that started early on as freshmen planning the credits that they took, the classes that they took, in order to not be at school as a senior. So the majority of them, yeah. So if we revise this and move forward, it's not going to be a struggle for them to reach their senior year. They're pretty well, if they've been lax, they're going to have to go to school their senior year.
I'll remind you that we were on 25 credits for years.
Yeah.
We just went back to 22 a few years ago. And we've always had a graduation rate that's been one of the best in the state, even when we were on 25. So this is not going to be a detriment to any of our students.
You're talking about for the upcoming senior class having one more credit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if they've been working for 3 years toward this goal of light second semester my senior year, one more credit's not going to break the tie.
Yeah.
So I actually have a question. The 3 additional credits for the people that have to get 25, are they all going to be required as just elective credits, or are there going to be other required classes for them to take?
It'll be the same required classes. Anything on top of it will be elective in the
So just elective, okay.
Not adding it, like, it'll still be your math, your English, your basic core classes, and then everything else should be added as well.
Yes.
Well, the recommendation is that the board approve this policy revision. Is there a motion to approve, or revise, I should say, policy 4.605?
I'll make a motion to revise.
Second?
I second.
Okay. Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any other discussion, any other questions before we vote?
I just want it understood that it's like what we're talking about tonight. Nothing will change. It will be, I'm not going to say in stone, but there won't be anything. I guess what I'm asking is, I hate for someone that does a work-based classes and they're working towards that, they will still be able to do that the second semester if they've satisfied.
If it's a work-based class.
Yes, a work-based
Like what
class.
Coach said, there's a course code that goes with those enrolled in a work-based learning. Even if they're working at the dock at the co-op,
I got you. Yeah.
if they're on that work-based learning, there's a course code, and that child for 2 hours or whatever will be counted credit toward a work-based learning.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right, motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? All right, it is approved. Thank you, Coach. Next on the agenda is another recommendation. This from the district leadership. It's the board approval of a policy revision as far as some district roles. So,
Yeah, and I don't know if y'all have heard, but Miss Carol, this is her last meeting tonight. She's been, did you say 2018? Is that when you started? 2018. Just seems like yesterday that she started this role, serving in this capacity. The policy specific that we're asking for revision is because she's named in policy 1.407. This is when the community comes and asks for a public records request. She is the records custodian, and in her place will be her replacement, Miss Ashley Jackson. We robbed her from Coach Murley. Still, we're not on good speaking terms today. But we're really excited about Ashley serving in this capacity. She's going to start after July 1. And she's already subbed multiple days last year, which was the best working resume that she could offer. And since that time, the school year ended, she's come and sat with Miss Carol to go through some of the daily work requirements and kind of just get up to snuff about the expectations for what that role plays. But Miss Carol has done an exceptional job for these years and sorely missed. I know that she will enjoy her time with Lewis. That's what she's looking for more. Or maybe it's the grandkids. Yeah, but anyway, the policy, I'm asking for a replacement of Miss Carol as our records custodian to be replaced by Ashley Jackson.
since I was named in the policy that required board approval. So is there a motion to make that, or to approve this recommendation? Okay.
Second.
There's a second?
Second.
Okay, Becky seconds. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that is approved. Next is a recommendation.
Shane?
Yes, I'm sorry.
I just want to tell Miss Carol, thank you for the great job you've done. And you have to do a little extra for me. You will be missed, but you'll do a great job.
Ms. Carroll says we must move on. This is a recommendation. This is kind of a new something we do now, but it's just a little earlier presentation of our fundraisers for the district. And this is a recommendation to authorize these, and Mr. Fields will give us the reasoning behind that.
Well, and again, going back to Coach Murley, fortunately he's here because he had asked earlier, several of the school organizations or sporting groups had requested to have a fundraiser request form being generated right at the close of the school year to be during that summer month, really before the end of the fiscal year or the June 30th. So right before the school year ended, we pushed out another form. This is just one or the initial submission of the request forms to all. It doesn't change the policy. It doesn't change the available fundraisers. They have up to 3 for every group. Organization can fundraise up to 3. And if somebody chooses to use or request a fundraiser that would not satisfy those smart snack guidance that the feds offer, then they can only offer that once per semester. Those policies and procedures have not changed. The only thing that's changed is rather than waiting for the start of the school year, you give them a few days to catch their breath and get the day started, and then request the fundraisers to be submitted for approval. This is capturing those that have already been approved. They can start as soon as their school year ended, the actual school year ended, and some, as you see, have already submitted. Now, like Dr. Kim had asked earlier, there's only 3 schools that submitted. Well, that was, all of them had the opportunity, but only 3 schools submitted fundraisers. And again, as I shared with you and I have shared with them, that there is no adjustment. If you requested early, it doesn't give you a chance the second request cycle that you're going to get 3 more opportunities. You have exhausted your 3 if you've already applied for your 3. And Middle School with 2 groups and Westchester with 2 groups have already satisfied. So this is just asking the board to authorize these procedures that have already been approved by, again, first, the building level principal, and 2, the director of schools. So I'm asking you to authorize these, and we will get these published in the Independent and publish it on our website ASAP, pending decision.
Is there a motion to approve these fundraisers?
I make a motion to approve them.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion?
The rest of these will be at the normal time.
We will actually, it's going to, as I informed them, as soon as the school year gets started, which is August the 3rd, we're going to be pushing out the second cycle. And that's for any fundraise request to start at or after Labor Day. So that's after September the 7th.
And the message to the paper will be, this is not all.
This is correct.
Because, then we'll start.
Yeah, it's a change.
They have they already had their fundraisers. Why are we having
Right.
more?
Yeah, we'll add a little bit more narrative. I'm sure the paper will support.
I'm sure.
Motion's made and seconded. Any other questions?
I'll be front folded.
That's right. All in favor of approving, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, those are approved. Final item tonight for business is just a recommendation to approve our board meeting dates. That will begin in July, which is the new year for the board, basically. So you see in front of you the 26, 27 meeting schedule. And we have that in front of you. Of course, even after approval, if a member needs to adjust a date with proper notice to give us time to adjust the agenda notification to the public, those can still be moved even after tonight. But these would just be the initial setting of dates for each month. Is there a motion that we might approve those as recommended?
I make a motion.
Any questions or discussion? Any comment?
Again, as it says in the narrative, it's still staying with the Tuesdays at 5.
Yeah, Tuesdays at 5 on those dates. But again, if you have a conflict and there's enough notice, just let the board chair or Mr. Pilsner know, and that can be adjusted as policy has been, or procedure has been previously. All right, all those, did I do a motion? I did. Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so those are set. Just a little moment before we close with any updates, I'll have Mr. Pilsner start with any he'd like to share. And if the board would like to request an update on anything, feel free to do so.
Well, and again, as usual, Stephanie provides the food service update to close out the school year. As she shared, because I know there's been some question in the past, do we choose our food product items for the students to be served different than the other districts around us? You can see that there's been a consortium of districts together that, as a group, completed a bidding process for food products, non-food supplies. So, just wanted to make sure that you were aware that those were the districts that we, Chester County, partners with in the, of course, it's in the close vicinity of our campuses. Again, they bid through that. And again, as she shared, one a specific pizza version, that's Smart Mouth pizzas. Again, because of the requirements by the federal government to have a multi-grain crust, that's why you can't have some of the food products that we've got accustomed to with a good hearty biscuit every day, or the pizza crust that we like from Domino's, whatever. So, but anyway, she was complimentary about this Smart Mouth pizzas, and I did provide a little link there that if you want to do a little research with that, you could. And then she shared the meal participation counts. Again, there's always an effort to see how to raise those up and provide variety. As we know, sometimes our students are very limited in what variety choices that they have at home. So we want to provide sufficient variety, but still be savory or sweet enough to draw them into the fold. So I think that her efforts, and again, I appreciate her being willing to provide that extra information so that you folks will be informed more than what you have in the past. Sports coaching evaluations, again, each close of the year, and for the fall sports, at the close of the first semester, we go through that same criteria of scoring. The scoring is done by an administrator or athletic director, head coaches, and assistant coaches. Every coach self-evaluates themselves based on the criteria provided, with a scoring range of 1 being the least effective to 5 being the most effective. And then the head coach also provides an additional evaluation of their assistants, and then the athletic director and or the principal evaluates everybody. So as you see the results of that scoring, that what you're receiving is the overall scoring results. We will meet with those coaches, and I say we, the administrators, athletic directors, myself, will meet with all coaches at the start of the school year. We'll revisit these, talk about the grows and the glows. What are we proud of that we're able to accomplish with these evaluations, and where do we need to work more? One of the things that obviously I'm complimentary of the football team is that taking care of their equipment, not letting it be abused. So that's something, and shows respect to the community for the investment that has been made, that we show our pride in what we have access to, and we take care of it. So anyway, proud of that. Also, you have the evaluators' survey results. I'm going to be having next month, early on, bridge conferences with all the administrators. We'll revisit not only the educator survey results, but also students at every school have been asked to do their student survey of their climate or the environment, and I'll share that with them. Plus, we'll be looking at some team observation data in addition, and that's going to be a data share out or data collection share out that helps support next steps for their own professional growth and or goals that they may set and action steps they may take with their school improvement plans. So that's with the educator survey results. 84%. I know we've had higher in the past. Some schools did better than others, but overall, district-wide, we are 84. That's top 15% in the state. Before we incentivize, but folks, we provide much richer incentives of bonus structures in May with the Besso's meal plus the $100 worth of chamber bucks. So,
Well, it is a long survey.
it is.
But
And it's good data. And of course, again, the data is going to be reflective of some of the work that we're already doing with the PLCs at work. So, looking forward to the conversations with the administrators. I know some that I've talked to in the past utilize that for their own school improvement plan and follow up faculty meetings. So, I'll revisit that with them. As Dr. Kim pointed out, there are some issues that need to be addressed as far as raising the level of awareness, understanding, and utility of the services that we are providing. And provision of those services are happening. It's just that not everybody's fully aware of what the other neighbors do. Got a couple of new additions in the leadership, as you see in your packet. I did make the correction. I was mistaken with Mr. Tim Shelby. I mistook him for another applicant who I interviewed. He got his teaching certification and his administrative credentialing from Free-Harding. I was mistaking him for somebody else at UTM. But he's looking forward to coming to Chester County with his family. He's got a preschooler, and I know that Natalie Lax, the building principal of middle school, is looking forward to his work with her. And as you see, also Lindsay Anthony is going to be joining East Chester's administrative team with her and Amanda. Amanda Brasfield participated in the interview. So did Natalie Lax, Beth Waller, myself, and Dr. Nathan Hall participated based on Natalie's request. So we had 5 to 6 routinely interviewing. We interviewed 6 different individuals that were all capable. that these two stood out in their scoring compared to the other four.
Any questions from the board?
Ag teacher, is there anything going on with that?
Well, one of the coach is still here. One of the applicants was also applying for the ag teacher role, and she had a good interview for the administrator position. She did not obviously score as well as these two because they were offered first. Then found out that she was not willing to be off, or she was offered the job as ag teacher, but rescinded. She decided to stay at, I guess, Southside. But then you did end up hiring a young man after that applied. Can't remember his name. Michael Stanton. So we have had a replacement.
Good.
You interviewed him with your administrator.
Director of my system.
What is his background? I mean, is he right
He
out
owns a family farm in the Cedar Grove area, and he has been, I think, the last 3 or 4 years at Bruton High School doing ag and everything.
Any other questions or feedback? You will see this week in your email your superintendent evaluation. If you guys will return that promptly, that'll be reviewed and gone over by Mr. Kills at our next meeting. But just you'll find that this week. Then following that, our next meeting is Tuesday, July 21st. That will be back at the board office. But before we adjourn, we do want to have a special thank you to Miss Carol. We weren't going to leave her out. We'll just wait till the end. So, okay.
Well, and now that Dr. Maurice has turned off the camera or getting close to it,